he was overwhelmed with what he saw. And the little children who were there, the adults, the women, and everyone pleaded that please let government support them and provide security for them to go back to their homes. Because staying in those camps for 5 months was not a good experience. Whatever it is, no privacy for a whole family of over 20. You stay in that open place, you have 4 wives, and you're forced to stay in a primary school environment where there is no privacy and you cannot leave, and so on. So promises were made, and I can assure you that as I talk to you, the office of the Vice President team, they've been working with us since he left. And they are already putting up some technical things together to ensure that we commence work. One, there is massive arrangement to provide housing for our people to occupy. There are also provision to provide seedling and other farm inputs. And of course, even tractors and other farm inputs to ensure that they do their normal work and at least have something to stay back.
Your Excellency, the federal government has launched its initiative on ranching with 10 pilot states. It's expected to cost about 176 billion. Benue is one of the states in the first phase. And you were at the meeting where this was unveiled. First of all, let me ask, what do you make of this scheme? Because I remember that you had been quoted before as saying that Benue does not have land that is going to give to anybody to do private business. If they want, they must come like other investors, negotiate, buy, and then use. So in view of this, you know, I'm looking at, what do you make of it?
I have not changed my mind. That is the position of Benue State.
That is, you don't have land.
I talk to you today. As I talk to you today, there is nowhere where you can obtain 20 hectares of land that is free to do open grazing. And so the land is not there. And cattle rearing is a private business, just like any other business. So when you're doing business, you must do some level of investment before you expect some profit. You must invest, and that is the law of nature. It's only when you sow that you reap. So when you're not prepared to do that, it is impossible. But I have been supporting the issue of providing subsidy for cattle rearers, for herdsmen. That can be done. Government can do it at the local government level, at the state, and at the federal level. But like I said some few days ago, 10 states have been selected to pilot this ranching program. For us, we have a law in place. And the process of establishing a ranch in Benue State is there. You follow it, you get the land, and you do your business. But to say that we provide 5,000 hectares of land, we don't have it available.
Did you make this your concerns known?
Of course, right from the inception, from the NEC committee that visited Benue, we made this known. And the committee accepted our position because they saw it. Stakeholders were there, the herdsmen were there, they interacted with them, and other Benue stakeholders were there. And the committee accepted that truly Benue State law should stand. And this was presented to NEC. But you see, out of the 10 states, we have our peculiarities. There are other states with massive lands that can be given out. And this is very simple. So the same approach I may adopt in Benue may not be the same another state we adopt to be able to continue with this. So while government is looking at our peculiarity, other states with provision of land, they can go ahead and do this. And even in the last presentation where I was present, I also made it known that we don't have land except what we have enshrined in the law we enacted.
Now, moving from there, I think it's then important to link these issues that we've talked about with other security challenges from which Benue may or may not be a victim. But now, general security challenges. Earlier when you talked, you mentioned a number of states where they don't have anti-open grazing law, but yet they have these security challenges which lead to people being killed in battles between herdsmen and farmers over land and all that. You mentioned Zamfara State. In Zamfara State, for example, only recently it was reported that about 3,000 people had to leave Zamfara for the border with Katsina as refugees. That was put down to cattle rustling. In Nasarawa State, there's an ongoing battle as well. In Nasarawa State, in Adamawa State, in a number of other places, even in the south, there are all these. What do you think can be done to attend to this? After all, we are going to have a general election next year. How viable will that be if these security challenges persist up until that time? What do you think can be done? I mean, not just in Benue now, but nationally.
You see, any country or any society that do not respect the rule of law and due process will find itself in where Nigeria is going today. For me, the first thing to do is for Nigerians to resolve. And when I talk about Nigerians, I'm not just talking about the led, I'm talking about those of us who are leaders too. We must together as a people resolve that we must respect the laws of our lands. And let this thing be sent to the least person in the society. And let people know that it is only the law that can guide us, that can direct us, that can lead us to where we are expected to be. It is only the law that can help us regulate our activities. Outside that, it can only be disaster. And when we don't obey the rule of the law, when we don't sanction those who violate the provisions of our law, then we're calling for anarchy. And when there is anarchy, only God knows where every one of us will be. So there is every need for us to learn to respect it. Let everybody, if you are given the responsibility of policing this country, you should do your work very well. And if you don't do it well, you should be sanctioned. And if anyone violates the law, he should also be sanctioned. That is the way to go. As it is today, it will appear to me that impunity is reigning in this country. This crisis we are talking about, how can I, as governor, write to security agencies and report those who are killing my people, and no action is being taken? And I've quoted their names. No even interrogation, no even invitation to these people. So how will the killing stop? So they think that they are above the law. And I'm sure I'm not in Zamfara, I'm not in Adamawa, I'm not in other Plateau or Nasarawa, but I believe that this is the kind of thing that is going on. I can never protect any criminal. I have told my people that if you get yourself involved in any criminal activity, if you're arrested, you'll be responsible for it. You go and explain. And no one can come out to say that I, Ortom, have harmed him or her. I don't believe in that. We must do the right thing, and that is why we're suffering today. We have chosen not to take laws into our hands, because doing that will require us to regret also tomorrow. Because when you arm the youth to prosecute your specific agenda, at the end of it, I can assure you from experience of what I've gathered, they will use those weapons against your state, against your people, They will indulge themselves into criminal activities, which is what I have vowed and have sworn to eliminate in my government. So I will say that as Nigerians, taking a case study of Benue State from what I have seen, we must respect our laws and let everyone given responsibility in one way or the other be willing to do it just like we observe it outside this country. We talk about Europe, we talk about America, we talk about China. I know that there are stiff penalties for those who violate their laws. And that is why things are working out there. Here we find it difficult because there are no sanctions. But when we begin to sanction those people who violate the law, you will see that things will change. And then there will be order. If those herdsmen, whether they are Boko Haram or Libyan mercenaries or ISIS of West Africa or herdsmen militia, if they know that Nigerian security system will deal with them if they come to Nigeria, they will not come again. They will look for another place. And so it is very simple. It's a matter of everybody taking up serious his or her own responsibility in the course of providing service, and all of us being vigilant. We who are being led should also stand up to our responsibilities, should be able to point out to we who are leaders that what we are doing is wrong. It's not just by sitting on the fence. For me, I've always told my people,